I'm Suzanne, and this is Seasons of Shared Grief. This podcast is a space for honest conversations about loss, love, and many ways that grief moves through our lives.
Yeah, but he wanted to be held all the time. Calm, and I said he needs calm, and it just something came over me and I held him, and I just held him and sang to him till he wasn't there anymore. And I want people to be able to come in and go, oh, who's this baby? And be able to talk about him, because otherwise, where does he go? I want to talk about him. And I think that's the hardest thing with grief. It
wasn't even the fact of, like, my brother's dead. It was more the fact of, like, I want my brother here, like, growing up with me. I was always an emotional kid, but I kept myself to myself, really. I never had many friends. I still don't. I'd rather keep my circle small. But it was more like I didn't want to tell people because everyone's like, oh, well, you're 4. He lived for a month. It's not that big of a deal. But it's like, he was my whole world.
So it didn't really feel understood.
Yeah. Like, people now still don't understand. Everybody wants to hear, oh yeah, it gets better. It doesn't. You just learn to handle it better. And you learn to understand it a lot better.
She had all that northern sass. There was no sugarcoating. She just spoke her mind and she didn't care what other people thought. So I'm starting now actually to embody that.
Your sass is nanny's sass, is that
right?
right?
Accepted. Like, I just let him say do all the horrible things, because at that point I just lost all self-worth and value and respect. And then she passed away, and it's like this fire came back to me where I stood my ground and I stood up to him. That wouldn't have happened.
So in your nanny's death, you experienced freedom.
Exactly.
Grief doesn't follow a straight line. It softens, it returns, it sometimes surprises us years later. But one thing that can help is knowing that we are not alone. In each episode, I will sit with someone who has experienced loss and who is willing to share their story.